Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today in this video I wanted to take a look at what I expect to be in Fallout 5 at release. This is a top 10 list of things that I want in Fallout 5 at release. This is one of the last shorter videos you're going to be getting. I was doing these short form videos just because of what was going on in my actual life at the minute, and I was very busy, but nonetheless next month you'll be getting a full review and lots of long form fun videos, so I'm sure you guys will enjoy that. Anyway, let's get straight into this thing. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let's do this. Okay, so starting off the bar very low with this one, but after the release of Starfield, I don't think I'm the only one calling for Bethesda to upgrade their game engine and to make sure that their games run as smooth as possible. I'm not saying that the game has to have completely no load screens, but at least the game has to run well. And maybe run a bit like Avowed, where there is load screens, yes, but they're only to load like big chunks of the world and not to load every single door you enter. I just want to be able to enjoy, to be honest, I just really want to be able to enjoy Bethesda games a lot more smoothly. I want to be able to enter a door without having to sit through a PNG image spinning around or stuff like that. So if there is load screens, I pray that they're like few and far between. So that is my number 10. Settlement building now needs to be a staple of Fallout, at least in my opinion. It was great in Fallout 4, and I think it should be in Fallout 5 as well. I was really happy to see it make its return in a small way in the appearance of Starfield, so I do think that Bethesda will make sure they keep going with settlement building, and they'll add it to Fallout 5 as well. I just thought I would make sure I make a statement here that I would really like it to be in the game. And it doesn't have to be a faction-based or related thing like it is in Fallout 4. In fact, it would probably be better if it's just optional to build a settlement in maybe 2 or 3 locations across the game's world. The option to build your own base and have your own companions live there is a really cool feature, and even people who don't like that feature, I think they would appreciate and understand how cool it is that at least it makes an appearance in the game. Now this one's kind of obvious, I suppose, but I want the open world to be large but also filled with a lot of memorable things. Now, one thing I think Starfield was kind of starting to miss was lots of memorable locations, and even a little bit like Fallout 4 was kind of missing that memorable location sort of feel. I think that some of the problems with Bethesda's newer titles are that they are so massive and so open that a lot of their worlds aren't really filled with anything memorable. You take a game like Avowed or other open world games like Batman Arkham City, or even I suppose a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, even though that map is huge to be fair. And to be fair, I said earlier Fallout 4, that's kind of a bad example because there are a lot of memorable locations I can think of from Fallout 4, but I still stand by newer Bethesda games have less memorable locations like Starfield. And of course Fallout 76, I think that game is one of the least memorable for its locations. And a lot of other open world games, and they're a lot more rememberable because of their smaller maps, but more condensed maps. Whereas Fallout has huge maps, and a lot of their maps is just pointless space. I really want the next Fallout games open world maps to be, don't get me wrong, large, but also have a lot of memorable locations and places, and recognizable locations from, of course, San Francisco. What? That was just a guess. I have no idea the game will be set in San Francisco. One thing I think that Fallout 4 was really missing was more companion-related quests. I mean, with Fallout 4 we did get companion-related quests for a handful of characters, which really sucks because the ones that we did get were in fact really fun, and they felt like they really added something to the characters that they were representing. I would definitely like to see more of this with Fallout 5, and overall just more fleshing out of companions, because when Bethesda fleshes out characters, they normally do quite a good job at doing so and making us care about these said companions and characters through their quests. It's just they don't seem to do it enough. I mean, there was no quest for Strong, there was no quest for Hancock, there was no quest for Codsworth, all characters that I personally would have loved to see personal quests relating to. So I hope that Fallout 5 not only has a handful of very cool and likable companions and interesting companions, but also that they have interesting quest lines to complete. Now, all that being said about companions, I would also like to see the same for far more fleshed out side content. In Fallout New Vegas, most of the side quests you would end up completing and doing were for small factions in the game, like the Kings or the Followers of the Apocalypse or the Great Khans. This means that most of the side quests you did in Fallout New Vegas felt like you were contributing far more to the overall turnout of the Mojave. Most side stuff you did in New Vegas had some kind of impact on factions, which made you feel like every decision and every random person you helped or didn't help, you were really shaping the Mojave in the way that you wanted to. But in Fallout 4, not only are most of the side quests kind of boring and very surface level, but I also don't get the feeling that what I'm doing has a huge impact on the actual Commonwealth. The whole thing that I love about Fallout is that you get to shape these places. You get to shape the outcome of the Commonwealth, the Mojave, the Wasteland. It's not quite true for Fallout 4 because every side quest you do is very surface level to the point that it doesn't feel like you're really having an impact on the world of the Commonwealth. So for Fallout 5, I would like some mini factions. I'd like some mini factions, some mini areas that you can really change for the better or for the worse, much like you can with the outskirts of New Vegas. So I'd love some mini faction side quests or just some deeper and more fleshed out side quests overall. Overall, Fallout 4's decisions and endings felt, for the most part, very low stakes, at least for me. Factions like the Railroad and Minutemen, your choices around them really made very little impact on how the Commonwealth was shaped by the end of the game. Same really for the other two factions, if I'm being honest. You kind of just do what they say and then nothing changes if you pick the Institute, I suppose. Things are arguably worse if you go with the Railroad, and then you have the two pretty much agreed on good endings for Fallout 4, the Brotherhood and the Minutemen endings. But other than literally picking your endings, there's no hard or really moral decisions you have to make in Fallout 4, and this is something that worries me. My point is that your choices are supposed to matter with Fallout. You're supposed to, like I just said before with the side quest stuff, be able to shape the Commonwealth through your choices, and if there's no real high-stake choices in the game, then what's really the point? I think it says a lot when you can pick an ending in Fallout 4 where you can have literally 3 out of 4 factions all alive, all fine, all just coexisting. I think that kind of shows a level of bad writing, or at least laziness. But it's not just ending choices. I'm talking about major choices within factions that even should be affecting gameplay. Like if you choose the Institute ending, you assault the Brotherhood, in which you are given the choice to produce more synth weaponry or more synths. This literally makes no difference. And even if it does, I don't give a fuck. I didn't notice when I was fighting the Brotherhood. There should be clear notice in gameplay changes around your choices. The world should change. Different places should look different on what you've done. And of course, your impact on your decisions should be clear. Other than destroying the Institute or the exact ending you got for the game, there's no massive choice for Fallout 4. And it really upsets me. It's like other choices within factions, like the Minutemen. Do you wait for the Mirelurks to come out and draw them out to you to attack them, or do you push straight in? Well, who cares, because it still ends with you going in, crushing the Mirelurk eggs, and then fighting the giant Mirelurk queen. Brilliant. Why don't we have some choices where we actually get to strategize a bit as a faction? If we're in control of a faction, why can't we make real important decisions? And if we're not in control of a faction, why can't we influence these factions to do what we as the player want them to be able to do? This is what Fallout has been missing ever since New Vegas, and it's something that so desperately needs to come back into Fallout. More decisions and more highly impactful decisions that the player can see. Fallout 4's gameplay for the most part is considered the best gameplay that Fallout has seen. However, that being said, there is still a lot of jank that comes with the game. I would like to see the game's controls and overall gameplay be improved in a number and a manner of different ways. Have more movement options and cater for different play types. You know, like stealth. Bethesda, can we talk about how every single game you make seems to have this half-assed stealth system? I'm so tired of it. Can we actually have a stealth system? You know, for players who actually want to play as a stealth character. Running around with a silenced gun or a bow is not enough anymore. It doesn't quite cut it. But anyway, I'd just like to see a bigger focus on gameplay for Fallout 5 and making the game actually feel smooth and fun to play, so the player can always enjoy the different styles of play types that the game actually offers, and show that there's a heavy variety of different play styles. I'd also like combat to feel a little bit more weighty and have a little bit more impact, as I feel like as the Fallouts have gone on, combat has got a little bit more stale and a little bit more bland in how soft all the guns feel. I want the guns to have more impact, and I want the gameplay of the combat to feel more solid. I think a problem that Fallout has had for a while is the reuse of old enemy types instead of coming up with new ideas for them. Like for example with super mutants, which by all lore standards should not be in Fallout 4, but yet they are. Like, I'm not saying I don't want to see them again after one Fallout game, and I'm not saying I don't want to see them in Fallout 4, but when they come up with as lazy as an excuse as what they did for Fallout 4, it really does make no sense why we got super mutants other than the fact that Bethesda wanted to reuse easy enemies for the player to shoot at. Other than synths in Fallout 4, we really didn't get any new enemy types, and synths themselves aren't that interesting when you really break it down to they're more basically just guys with guns. I really would like to see in the next Fallout game more unique enemy types with actual patterns that maybe we have to learn, and different, funner, more unique ways we have to defeat them other than just being bullet sponges. Large bullet sponges that the player has to dump round after round into. Why don't we have like boss fights where the player has to learn a certain amount of patterns that the enemy is doing before they can take it down, or some form of skill to enemy fights, like the first boss fight in the Nuka World DLC. That was a cool fight. I just want more enemies like that in Fallout 5. Now for Fallout 5, at the very least, I expect there to be 4 factions, and therefore, once again, at least 4 endings. And speaking on endings, we need more different versions of endings. Endings that actually explain how much of an impact we had on the different people we helped throughout the damn game. In Fallout 4, you literally get 2 variation cutscenes, and this is like a kick in the teeth. This is terrible system, and I cannot stand it. Please, can we have actual endings that explain everything that happened with our side quests, with our main quests, with our companions, all of it. Yeah, you see this shit that New Vegas did 10 years ago? Yeah, we need that, but more fleshed out. And more fleshed out faction. And more interesting faction. And more interesting and intricate storylines around each important faction. I hope that there's more endings to Fallout 5. I hope that there's more factions in Fallout 5. And I hope that everything is on a more impactful scale, which is explained to the player far more clearly than Fallout 4's was. And finally, at the number 1 spot, and it's such a small and simple thing that needs to be done for Fallout 5, but that thing is a reformed dialogue system. The dialogue in Fallout 4, to say the least, was just completely terrible and kind of sucked. I'm expecting a lot better for Fallout 5. And for the number 1 thing on this list, this is not a lot to ask. I mean, to be fair, they could very easily just use the system from Starfield, because I for one think that system worked absolutely fine and was far better than the system we got for Fallout 4. Please do not go back to the good, question, sarcastic, and bad. Please, just do not do that again. That shit sucked. I'd like a well-rounded, solid, and fun dialogue system with actual hard speech checks that make sense. And that concludes my personal top 10 things I would like to see make it into Fallout 5. Let me know down in the comments down below what you guys would like to see in Fallout 5, and I hope you guys have all enjoyed this video. Make sure you stay safe, guys. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Stay safe, guys, and peace.